Good afternoon, Gordon. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Firstly, the Cooper Associates County Ground has been selected to host individual training sessions for potential England men's players. What does that mean, and what measures have had to be implemented to ensure that it remains safe?
Well, thanks, Ben. Firstly, I think that it's great to be talking about something that relates to people playing cricket. You know, that is the first thing. So much of the last couple of months, for the club and for cricket everywhere, has been talking about the implications of COVID-19, and it's really refreshing that we're now talking about getting people with a ball in their hands and a bat in their hands in time to play the game. So what's happened here is that the ECB, as you say, have selected some venues, including the Cooper Associates County Ground, 7 venues in total: Durham, Manchester, Birmingham, Nottingham, Taunton, Southampton, and the Kia Oval in London are the 7. So very privileged to be selected for that, and that would have been not least because we've got 5 of our players have been selected for a squad of 30, initially 18 bowlers, who will be considered for test selection as and when test matches start to get played, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a few minutes. So those players, Jack Leach, obviously, Dominic Bess, Craig and Jamie Overton's, the Overton brothers are in there, as well as Lewis Gregory. So, I mean, firstly is congratulations to them on their selection. That's been lost in all this. What a fantastic achievement it is for them to, after years and years of hard work, to be selected. And we should never, as a club, take that type of selection for granted. And we're very proud of them, and their families will be too. I think also at this time it would be well worth congratulating Devon. 4 of those lads come from Devon, so congratulations to Devon on producing those players to come through the pathway, and in partnership with Somerset have managed to get them to a standard whereby they're fit to represent their country. So tremendous. Get back to the venues. So what this means is the ECB have been working with government for a number of weeks now and other sports to try and get a template for sport to get back being played safely amidst this crisis that we're in. And a huge amount of work has been done by ECB with that. And we got a briefing earlier in the week on what it will mean to be in a biosecure venue that Taunton will be. And Taunton will be in lockdown, and the only people that will be allowed into the venue will be those that are participating. You'll have people getting temperature checks. They'll be submitting surveys on their own state of health in advance of arriving at the ground. They'll only be able to access certain parts of the venue, and so on. The sort of measures that you would expect with social distancing in place, so that they can come back to training as part of stage 1 of that programme in a very safe way that doesn't impact or put their health at risk. So that's all. It's exciting, it's challenging, it's incredibly important for the game that we get international cricket, and for that matter, a county cricket down the line. But initially, international cricket is key.
So would you consider these the first steps to the return of international and domestic cricket?
Yeah, absolutely. The steps this is the first step in a number. So what we've got now is individuals training on their own, literally on their own, and getting bowlers bowling on their own, and with nobody else touching the ball, and that type of discipline. And then that will move into a small group. That once that phase is completed, and if that's successfully completed, we move into small groups where players start training together, and then the next phase will be teams starting to train together, and so on, before you get them back onto the field of play. So it's the start of a journey, which then culminates initially in Test match cricket being played. The ECB have been in discussions with the 4 countries who are scheduled to be touring England and Wales this year, which is Ireland, West Indies, Pakistan, and Australia. Highly complex situation, and each of those countries is being impacted by COVID-19 in a different way, if at all. And when you consider that the West Indies have 9 countries and 9 governments to work with to get this series off and running, then you'll understand the scale of the challenge. But initially, it's expected that these test matches will be behind closed doors at 2 venues that will be announced in due course, so that you have the matches taking place and obviously broadcast, and so that people can sit in their homes and watch some sport that we've all been craving for. So Test cricket first, and then that will roll on. There'll be a programme for July, then a programme for August, and a programme for September, which is very important for us to get through successfully.
And just back to Somerset then. So what are the main areas of work that you and the team are carrying out over the last couple of weeks?
Well, we've got a fair bit on, and I guess the amount of work we're dividing by 10 rather than by 76, which is our normal. That's our number of staff, including players and coaches, is 76. So there's a lot of pressure on those 10 people, and that's the world that we're currently living in. But I'm obviously enormously grateful for the people that are working at the club, and I'm also very grateful for the people who are under furlough, because that's making a massive contribution financially to the future of the club and the way we operate. So the types of things, the first thing that is on my in-tray is dealing with the ECB in relation to the domestic playing programme. They're starting to do some work along with my chief exec colleagues at counties as to what might the domestic season look like. And I'm expecting the template for the international game that we've just been talking about to form the basis of what a domestic programme might have to undertake to get domestic cricket away this year. That is looking at all 3 formats of the game at the moment. We'll be looking at the period August and September. It may be restricted to September, but the work is being undertaken on all 3 of those scenarios at the moment, and I'm hoping to get something confirmed in the coming weeks, so that we know what we're dealing with. So that's the first thing from a cricket point of view. In terms of the broader work that is taking place, on cricket itself, Andy Hurry and Jamie Thorpe are the only 2 people from our cricket department, as it were, who are actually working, and the rest are furloughed. I'm sure the players are doing a lot of voluntary training at home to keep fit and be ready to come back when they're required. But Andy and Jamie are working hard on this England player return as the first step of their work. So that's taken up a lot of time this week. What that England training has also done is required some of our staff to be unfurloughed. So Jason Kerr, Joe Trapp, Scott Hawkins is working with another one of his ground staff team to come back and make sure that we're able to host those sessions. It doesn't just happen. There's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to ensure that the club can deliver those sessions for those players, which obviously are very, very important. For the other projects that we're working on, the one that is enthusing me at the moment is around our strategy for the game. ECB have come up with Inspiring Generations through consultation with the stakeholders, which is basically what it says on the tin, but we will have our own plan that aligns to Inspiring Generations. And there's a lot of work that took place on that prior to my arrival at the club on the 16th of March, which seems a long time ago now. And we're now picking that work up again after the period of turbulence that we've had. That's hugely exciting, because when you start to look at the opportunity we will have when we come through this crisis, it is quite phenomenal. I mean, if you take the populations of Somerset, Dorset, Devon, Cornwall, which is our kind of catchment, then that's 3.5 million people. And when you consider that in context, that it's twice the size of Manchester, twice the size of Hampshire, 3 times the size of Nottinghamshire, it's a big, big catchment area. And the work that we are doing around that is how we work with our partners in those counties and what value we can deliver on their behalf to ensure that we have more Lewis Gregorys and the players I mentioned earlier coming through the pathway. So that's hugely exciting, and I think that gives us room for optimism about the future. we've just got some challenges navigating our way through the next few months in incredibly difficult circumstances, where we don't have clear visibility of how long this thing will last, and nobody does, and that makes life pretty challenging. So they're the main projects that they're working on currently, as well as a lot of community work. We've, as has been well publicised locally, the shirt that we've had, the training shirt we've had produced with NHS on it, supporting NHS with proceeds going to good causes in our area. They sold out. Those 500 limited edition shirts sold out within about a week, which was tremendous. So we've been doing some work on that. We're also doing some work locally with a voluntary group called Corona Helpers, which is a group that's helping volunteers, the 4,000 volunteers in the county, and we're trying to add value there and in other parts of the community as well. So a lot going on, and not normal, certainly not a normal cricket season, but we're working hard to try and get one.
Yeah. For people with tickets, can you just confirm what they need to be doing at this stage?
Sure. Well, we absolutely understand that the issue that people have and the uncertainty, and what we've said is that we'll wait until the season is established, so which fixtures are actually being played. If the match isn't played, then money will be refunded, and we have a policy in place that can be accessed through our website. However, if the match is rearranged and there is a fixture in August or September, then the ticket will be transferable at that point, or a refund can be claimed if the date doesn't suit. So we're asking people to stick with us for the time being until we've got the dates, and then we will be communicating with those ticket buyers to ensure they know and understand their options.
And Lan, just lastly, have you got any an update for the very faithful Somerset membership?
Well, firstly, thanks for sticking with us, because it is so important. I've been blown away by the number of messages that I've had, and the club as a whole has had, about, hang in there, keep going, the club's important, and that has been so heartening. And my overriding message is thank you for your patience, and please be assured that we are doing everything we can to get cricket back on at the Cooper Associates County Ground at the earliest possible opportunity. And I'll continue to communicate openly and honestly as things develop.
Perfect. Well, thanks very much for your time this afternoon, Gordon, and we'll certainly catch up soon.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks a lot.